What's up, guys? This is Alex from the Duran, and today we're going to take a look at an awesome video of Stephen Cohen demolishing neocon Max Boot on CNN. All right, guys, I'm not even going to provide much commentary on this video. Just take a look at it. It's Stephen Cohen going on Anderson Cooper on CNN, and he demolishes neocon Max Boot. Max Boot has been embarrassed by Tucker Carlson, and today he gets embarrassed by Stephen Cohen. And good for Stephen Cohen, because Max Boot is a complete ass in this interview. He tries to defame Cohen. He calls him a Putin apologist, trolls out the standard lines of anyone that goes against the deep state narrative that Russia meddled in the elections and Russia got Trump elected and Russia attacked the United States and it's worse than 9/11, it's worse than Pearl Harbor. Anyone that goes against that narrative is automatically and immediately called a Putin stooge. Cohen is one of the foremost experts on Russia. He's been studying Russia for 40 plus years. He speaks Russia. He lived in Russia. Max Boot is a complete freaking idiot. He got the Iraq WMD war wrong. He got Libya wrong. He got Syria wrong. He's been calling for war after war after war. He's a neocon, deep state, globalist shill. We wrote an article actually a couple months ago when Tucker Carlson had Max Boot on, and Tucker Carlson demolished Max Boot. I mean, he just destroyed Max Boot, and it's no different in this case. Stephen Cohen takes Max Boot to town. Take a look at the video. Watch Cohen demolish Max Boot. Anderson Cooper is also kind of smirking because he realizes that Cohen is just going to town on Boot. He just makes Boot look stupid, and Boot is stupid. He's not. He hasn't gotten one foreign policy issue right. Not one. It's amazing that they keep on trotting him out on the mainstream media channels to give commentary on Russia and on Trump. But then again, we know why they trot him out, because he pushes the deep state globalist narrative. And the man is just stupid, and Cohen calls him out on his stupidity. Check out the video. Click the subscribe button down below. Click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And visit the Duran shop. Help support the Duran. Guys, enjoy the video. Give us your comments down below what you think and how you saw Stephen Cohen and Max Boot and Anderson Cooper in this video. We love to hear from you guys. Until next time, take care.
Maybe one of the world's greatest mysteries. What happened at the 2-hour-plus sit-down between Vladimir Putin and President Trump in Helsinki? The president brought the subject back into the news cycle today.
I had a great meeting, in my opinion. Of course, the fake news didn't cover it that way, but I had a great meeting with President Putin of Russia.
Says it was a great meeting. We didn't cover it that way because we have no idea what actually took place in that meeting. Max Boot is here, CNN global affairs analyst, and Stephen Cohen, professor emeritus of Russian studies and politics at NYU in Princeton. Max, let's start with you. I mean, the president's saying he had a great meeting with Vladimir Putin. The fact is, it's been 2 weeks now. We still don't know what went on behind closed doors between these two.
Well, that's exactly right, Anderson, and Trump is aggrieved that he's not getting the credit that he thinks he deserves, but we have no idea what the heck happened. And if you listen to Mike Pompeo's testimony last week, even Secretary Pompeo doesn't have a clear idea of what happened. This is not normal. This is not what normally happens when two leaders meet. You're seeing Trump continuing to praise Putin, and we don't know the substance of what they discussed. That's a scary scenario.
Stephen, I mean, do you think it's problematic that we don't know what was said in that 2+ hour meeting between these two world leaders? And you know, as Max said, it didn't seem like Mike Pompeo or others maybe even have a firm grasp on what was said.
I don't think it's unusual. We do have a pretty good sense of what was discussed, both from what Trump's people have said, but equally from 2 or 3 speeches Putin has given. Let me just rattle them off, because I was looking at them today. They discussed trying to avoid a new nuclear arms race by keeping alive 2 treaties that exist. They talked about peace in Syria, including securing Israeli borders from Iranian forces. That would be very important to Americans, I think. They talked about the possibility of a joint alliance against terrorists who are in pursuit of weapons of mass destruction. They talked about doing more business, which doesn't make much sense because of the sanctions. And they talked in some way about the United States becoming more involved in the Minsk agreement, which is the only agreement we have to resolve the Ukrainian crisis.
But how do you know that's what they actually talked about?
Those are good things.
You have to take Putin's word for this. This is what they talked about.
The Russian side has said.
Right. So you're going on the side. You're believing Vladimir Putin on this.
Well, I don't want to shock you, but I believe Vladimir Putin on several things. But the point is this has been confirmed by a number of Trump's people. Trump himself made some statements. We discussed this.
It hasn't really been confirmed. I mean,
he doesn't talk like a normal diplomat.
What President Trump actually said to Vladimir Putin is only known to Vladimir Putin and to President Trump. Even if Putin comes forward and says, oh, I said this, or even if President Trump comes forward and says, oh, I said this, we don't know for sure. The only thing we know for sure is what happened at that press conference. Did what happened at that press conference concern you at all, Stephen?
Well, let me give you an example. I being older than both of you, maybe you don't remember. In early 1986, President Ronald Reagan met alone with then Soviet leader Gorbachev for, I think, about 2.5 hours. And everybody was very upset about it because Reagan was getting older in years, and people were worried. When the guys came out, Reagan and Gorbachev, they said, we've decided to abolish nuclear weapons. And aides on both sides said, you can't do that, just like that. So they backed off. But what happened 1 year later? Reagan and Gorbachev abolished a whole category of nuclear weapons, the intermediate range. Okay. So good things got done, and nobody else knew, except the two translators, what was said in there. Okay. So there's precedent.
President Trump today talked about meeting with the Iranian president, Rouhani, with no preconditions. Does that surprise you? Would that be wise?
It's not surprising to me at all, Anderson. In fact, I predicted it a week ago when Trump came out with that semi-deranged tweet in all capital letters threatening consequences the likes of which you've never seen before to Iran. Based on his pattern, you can pretty easily predict that after threatening these horrible consequences, Trump will then try to set up a meeting, glad hand, and before long he'll probably be praising Rouhani for being incredibly intelligent, smart, witty, warm, and reaching a deal that has no substance to it whatsoever. That's his pattern. The striking thing to me is that although he's willing to threaten North Korea, he's willing to threaten Iran, he never threatens Russia. And that's why a lot of intelligence officials think that there is something highly suspect in the relationship between Putin and Trump.
I have no idea what Mr. Booth is talking about. He wants Trump to threaten Russia. Why would we threaten Russia? You've got two nuclear superpowers.
Because they're attacking us. Russia is attacking us, Professor Cohen. Russia is attacking us right now, according to Trump's own director of national intelligence.
Russia, I've been studying Russia for 45 years. I've lived in Russia and I've lived here.
And you've been consistently an apologist for Russia in those 45 years.
Russia hasn't. Excuse me, what did you say to me?
I said you've been consistently an apologist for Russia in those last 45 years.
All right, I don't do defamation of people. I do serious analysis of serious national security problems. When people like you call people like me, and not only me, but people more eminent than me, apologists for Russia, because we don't agree with your analysis, you are criminalizing diplomacy and détente, and you are the threat to American national security. End of story. Why do you have to defame somebody you don't agree with it? They used to do that in the old Soviet Union. We don't do that here. Well, we used to, but we need to stop it.
So just finally, Stephen, you're saying Russia was not attacking the United States?
I know what you're talking about. That during the 2016 election, Russia attacked the United States. Yes, I don't think they attacked the United States.
Okay, and yet you just denied being an apologist for Russia. You're apologizing for Russia as we speak.
Well, you haven't let me finish. You don't know what I'm going to say.
Please
the
go
meddling
ahead.
Began, Mr. Cooper, and the meddling began right after the Russian Revolution when Woodrow Wilson sent American troops to fight in the Russian Civil War against the communists. The meddling began on the Soviet and Russian, let me finish, on the meddling side when the communists formed the Communist International, 1919. Ever since then, Moscow's meddled in our politics, we have meddled in theirs. This is low-level stuff, what went on. It is not an attack. It is not 9/11. It is not Pearl Harbor. It is not Russian paratroopers descending on Washington. This kind of hyperbole. An attack on America suggests we need to attack Russia. So you've got Mr. Boot saying that Trump should threaten Russia with what? Does he want to attack?
Try sanctions.
You know what I think? I think that Mr. Boot would have been happy if Trump had waterboarded Putin at the summit and made him confess. Trump carried out an active diplomacy fully consistent with the history of American presidencies. Let us see what comes of it, then judge.
All right. Stephen Cohen, Max Boot, appreciate it. Thank you very much.